Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to look at the NRL Dream Team available on Sports Deck. So for those that watch the channel, we usually get into a bit of Dream Team for NFL and NBA, so the American sports. They do offer, I guess, a lot of the Australian stuff, the NRL, the AFL. So being a mostly NRL channel, I usually do set up a Dream Team League. For those that haven't played it before, it is sort of halfway between Supercoach and NRL Fantasy, which once we get in, you'll see some of the differences around positions, and the pricing will reflect different scoring as well. So I'm going to go in completely from the start. So put in my team name, as always the Angry Pirates representing. I'll put that I'm an expert. This is normally just to set up your public league to start with, but I'll be creating my own league, so I'll probably get rid of that pretty quickly. So if we have a look at the setup, so we have hookers like in Supercoach, front rowers, second rowers. But then the halves are combined, much like in NRL Fantasy, and then the centres and the wing fullbacks are separated, more like in NRL Fantasy as well. This year we do also have the flex, which is a new incorporated position in Supercoach. Potentially Fantasy, I don't know what they've got planned yet. At the time of recording, it's not open, but we have an extra position to fill this year. So we've got 11.8 million to spend, so I'm pretty sure that's in line with the Supercoach budget, which they do try to line up with the actual salary cap. So putting a team together, I guess, I may have done this with the team picker, I can't remember, but what I usually like to do is sort of go through, start with maybe one gun per position, and then try and find the cheapies, and then obviously some value to fill in the gaps, and then we can always adjust from there. In saying that, this year with the hookers, I think there is a bit of value, so we'll scroll down and sort of have a look. So it looks like Mamazelis is at 336, Moser at 328, so slightly above their Supercoach prices. Just having a look, Sandon Smith is available at hooker as well as the halves. So we'll probably pick him in the halves because we do, there's probably not a great deal of cheap options there. So I might just plug in the same sort of starters that I've gone with in Supercoach, Moser, Mamazelis, assuming that they do get those starting jobs at the Bronx and South respectively. In the front row, so I guess Terrell May will be quite popular, currently owned by 52%. Don't know how many people are currently logged in. I'm assuming it's only open today, but you'd love to see it. Let's try and have a look. So Tino's at 564, so a little bit more expensive than in Supercoach as well. And then I guess I haven't really been looking at too many quote-unquote cheap options. Maybe some of those dual position guys. We'll see if we can get like an Afahu White, yes. Cohen Hess potentially. Haven't seen him come up yet. Corey Horsburgh might only be second row only, perhaps. I know he's there, just a bit more expensive at 437. So Tom Amone is pretty cheap. We'll get him in as well. Royce Hunt pretty popular, so we might go with him as well on the bench. And then I guess probably we could plug in Tino, even though he'll be on the bye for round one. Second row, so just having a look through. So it seems like on average the players are just a bit more expensive here, so maybe I go with something similar to. No, actually we'll skip that strategy. What we'll do is we'll plug in the halves, the wing fullbacks, and then we'll go from there. So I think we've got to lock in Cleary. Um, After that, obviously, we can go with a Hines or a Burton. Dylan Brown's at a bit of a discount. I guess Munster's at a really big discount. But I guess this is in sport in Dream Team. It's a little bit more like fantasy. Like you want those sort of dominant playmakers. They're more likely to get you the points. So you can see Cherry Evans is up to sort of fourth highest in terms of price. So, the likes of Fogarty or Moses at a discount. So I know I had him in a video looking at the fullbacks if we were to go triple fullback, but maybe someone like a KO Weeks playing fullback could be a pretty handy get in the halves. And then I said I wanted to get Sandon Smith, so I'll get him in. Obviously, if Tom Duffy gets the start at the Cowboys, he'll be straight in. Because, outside of that, don't know if there's anyone to. Now, don't obviously Dodd or Ilias would be a good chance of playing. Um, as we scroll up, Metcalf's one I've been interested in for Supercoach, so we could have a look at him in Dream Team as well. So wing fullback, so I guess you can see slightly different scoring, not quite as massive overall, but when we look at the flex position, you can see like halves are up there, Isaiah Yo in the second row, so we probably don't necessarily need to spend as much money at wing fullback, but it'd still be nice to have someone like Tom Turbo, albeit not in the flex. Tom Trbojevic, there we go. So Kalen Ponga is quite a bit cheaper than I guess those other gun fullbacks, so we might load him up. Pappenhausen's quite cheap as well, so maybe this will be the league I get him in. Drinkwater's a little bit more expensive in this league. And then let's just load up on some cheapies, probably just the cheapest that are available. Good chance of starting. Maybe Derby at the Cowboys. Perhaps McLean or Yongi, of course, should be pretty popular. Chevy Stewart, if he does get the fullback job, obviously Weeks would have to go in that case. Paulo's an outside chance of the job at the Cowboys. Munro, pretty cheap for what he could potentially provide. Interesting that Nwangana Tuasi is a wing fullback in Supercoach. Sounds like he's going to. In Dream Team. Sounds like he's going to play in the centres. And we're starting to get a bit expensive at this point. So. So maybe Tyrone Munro just for the time being. So centres. So generally centres are the lowest scoring on average. If we quickly go through, you can see hookers are 50 to 55, 60 for the elite front rowers. Isaiah Yo's in a league of his own. But close to 60 for the second rowers. The halves 60 plus. In the second centres, you can see just above 50 for those elite options. The wing fullbacks a bit more expensive than that, or a bit more higher averaging than that, I should say. Um, but we can get Kiraz in the centres, which is pretty cool for getting a winger. We do like Kiraz, so we might get him. Could get Garrick as well, so just the same combination we've currently got in our Supercoach team. Lock them in, and then again, just whoever is cheap. Toya, yep, good chance he'll get some games. Lock him in. After that, yeah, maybe Purdue. There's a good chance of getting a game somewhere. They're at the Cowboys, so might be pretty set and forget in the centres. So what does that leave us? 3 mil for 7 second row positions. So might just try and get the cheaper options in first, and then see how many guns we can fit in. Um, so not really guaranteed any of these cheapies. There's been talk about Halangalu, Langahu, I mean, potentially, but not a massive shout. Um, Schuster, very popular at 233, probably worth a punt. Starting to get a little bit higher in price. Siwa Wong, we do think is a good chance of getting a start. So we'll put him in. Piakura is pretty cheap. Obviously, off the back of a 26.5 average, thought he'd be a bit higher. But we'll keep that in the back pocket. Maybe Nicholson. So we've got our bench covered. Fini Fuyaki could offer value if he gets a start. Hetherington as well, potentially. Uh, but what does that leave us with? 2.2 mil. So I think we can shop at the top end of town now. I guess the question is, do we just go Isaiah Yeo given his positionally advantageous? Why not? Let's see how we go. Outside of that, I'm going to go with Barnett. Talked about in the Supercoach video. I think he's the big winner from Tohu Harris's retirement. And obviously the dual position is pretty helpful also. So we might take advantage of that. And so then that gives us 600k to spend in our flex position. So I feel like we've gone okay in terms of our cheapies on the bench. So then the question is, who do we have at that sort of price point? So starting with Jackson Hastings, not really a hammer. Um, Jamal Fogarty potentially. Probably the dominant half, kicks goals. 14 games last year had that injury, so he's an option. Lomax, I think if he plays in the centres, isn't as big of an option for fantasy super coach. Any of that. A lot of the stuff from the wing was the tries, but then also the ball running out of the back. I don't know if he does as much of that as the centre. Moses we looked at as a potential option. So I am leaning towards a half, particularly given we've got Sandon Smith and KO Weeks. Obviously, can cover hooker, wing fullback, those sorts of things. So it does give us that bit of flexibility in the squad. So then I guess the question is, which way do we go there? Moses or Fogarty? Probably leaning towards Fogarty just because Moses is the main man in attack, but Lomax may take the goal kicking from him. So I'll plug Fogarty in, and then what we might do is just swing those two around. Have K Weeks as our flex for the time being. So that's just a quick put together squad, obviously based off what we've done previously. I'll just swing Barnett on field for week 1. Also, Isaiah Yo needs to come on. Maybe something like that. So, save the team. I guess we can add bench spots real quick. Yongi as well. And yeah, so we'll go and create a league. So that's the public league. We want to create our own. So we'll be ambitious and go for 20 teams. Call it Super Coach Nuffs. I like to do the secondary ladder on total points, just so it's a little bit fairer. It rewards teams that are doing well overall. So let's create the league. And the league code you can see there at the top is 163474. So if you're interested, jump on and add that league code. I will add this code into the description, so you can just click the link and it will add you straight in. But that's all we really need to look at for this video, so we'll wrap it up there. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you do enjoy the Dream Team, just that, I guess, different type of rugby league based fantasy game. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel, and other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.